Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I want to talk to you guys about things that I wish that I knew, things that I was not told, things that I were not told, sorry, about infertility. And I want to share those with you guys because obviously my channel, right now I'm dedicating it to those of you who are struggling with infertility like we are, and I'm just so passionate about this subject, having gone through it. So I wanted to share this video with you guys, and this is also a very special video because it's in collaboration with Rachel McGlothlin. I hope I'm pronouncing that last name right. I'm horrible with names, but she is so stinking sweet. I found her channel through infertility, and she is going through this herself. So like always, go and listen to her story. Maybe it lines up with your story. Talk to her about it, share advice with each other. She also does RV living full-time, which I think is so awesome. I think it is so cool. I love watching her RV living like tips. I think it's cool. I think it's an awesome lifestyle to live. She also has like debt-free stuff if you are someone who likes to do like financial things and pay off debt. She's just a resource kind of for everything. So I have her channel and video linked down below like always, and let's go ahead and get into the video. So one of the first things about infertility that it might be obvious, but it may not be as obvious as you would think it would be going through it, and that's just the feeling of loneliness. Being infertile for whatever reason, whether it's your issue, whether it's your husband's issue, whether you are a same-sex couple and have to use fertility treatments to get pregnant, it's terrible, and you can feel lonely, and you just kind of feel like there's no one to talk to about it. And honestly, when I started going through it with my kind of as secondary infertility, I just felt like who can have a baby and then can't have one later on? Like, whose body does that? How could I have a child naturally and then this cruel joke, now I can't get pregnant? Am I only allowed to have, as many as I've had? Like, just so many things go through my mind, and I just felt so alone. And I didn't even know it was called secondary infertility, for one. So that would have been helpful for me to know that, so I could have looked it up. But the more I opened up YouTube, Instagram, a few people at work, I started realizing that it doesn't have to be as lonely as you think it is. However, if you're not comfortable sharing in real life your story, maybe using forums is a great way, because you remain anonymous. Essentially, you can remain anonymous. If you're on like Baby Center or whatever, you can just ask questions and get answers without having to broadcast your story to everyone that you know. So it can be very lonely if you're not able to like reach people, and if you don't personally know someone going through it, that can be tough. It's very lonely, and like hearing someone say, oh, it's lonely, you just have no idea until you're actually in there. And I don't think that anyone's like actually mentally prepared to feel that way, but unfortunately it comes along with infertility. The next thing that I didn't know about infertility, and it's something that I don't think is talked about a lot, is the range of emotions that you feel. You become so vulnerable in this state of infertility that you start feeling every kind of emotion possible. You're angry, you're upset, you're jealous, you start feeling like you're a failure, you start getting anxiety. Your body and your mind, you just go through so much when going through this that it's crazy. I would never wish infertility upon anyone, even like my worst enemies. I would never wish this upon anyone. I don't think it's fair that women have to go through infertility, or men have to go through infertility, but unfortunately it's not really avoidable. For some cases, actually for a lot of people, I mean 1 in 8. 1 in 8 is a huge number in my opinion, like 1 in 8 people. It's crazy. That means when you're in Target, you're passing at least 15 people who have had infertility or will have it, which is crazy to me. It just blows my mind. But you just go through so many emotions, and I hate feeling jealous. I don't like being a jealous person. But with infertility, when I see a pregnant girl walking in Walmart or Target or the side of the road at Starbucks, wherever, in the beginning was so jealous, and I almost would just like give that like look where it's like, ugh. It's gotten better. It does eventually get better, at least for some of us. But unfortunately, that's something that you're going to go through. You're going to go through the whole spectrum of emotions, and I don't think that's avoidable either. The next thing is that when you're going through infertility, this is if you choose to share with people that you know, that you work with, family, friends, church, anyone. This is for those of you who are going to go through infertility or are going through it and are choosing to share your story. You will encounter opinion after statement, everything. You will encounter all of it, and they're gonna say, oh, you're young, just give it time, or just wait, it'll happen, just do it every other day of the month and it'll happen. You will hear that all the time. Even if you know that you cannot get pregnant without fertility treatments, it doesn't matter. They will continue to say that because everyone becomes a doctor when you're going through infertility. Suddenly everyone's gone to medical school except for you, and they know better than anyone else. And I've had people kind of rebuke something my fertility specialist has said, and nothing irritates me more than someone who knows my case, or not my case, but knows that I'm going through it, and then kind of like arguing with things that my fertility specialist has said. And it's very frustrating. So keep that in mind when I'm not saying that you shouldn't share, but if you do choose to share, just be aware that people are going to offer their unwanted and unneeded, and sometimes not even true, opinions and facts. So just something to look out for if you're choosing to share your story. The next thing is that infertility will strain your relationships. It's almost a guarantee in like some way, shape, or form. Infertility will strain relationships with your family, your spouse, significant other, your friends. For instance, a lot of times with IVF, IUIs, fertility medication, a lot of times, unfortunately, insurance is not going to cover any of it. Maybe a part if you're lucky, maybe a lot if you're really lucky, but most likely no. I mean, the laws right now I just don't think are fair. I mean, there are some states that are kind of with it and doing things they should be doing, but like for our state, for instance, in Iowa, no, it's not happening. It's not going to be covered. So you are going to probably start arguing about finances. You know, infertility costs a lot. If you have to go through treatments, it's not cheap, and unfortunately that can strain your relationship, your marriage, your friendships. For another instance in like straining relationships, a lot of times it'll strain relationships with your friends, especially if you have friends that are trying to conceive when you are. I know personally I have friends that are trying to conceive right now who always will text me and say, oh, is this a pregnancy symptom? Am I pregnant? Is this? And I'm like, hello, I think it's so inconsiderate to text me about your issues and mad that you're not pregnant after your first month of trying and asking me if all these symptoms mean you're pregnant when you know what I'm going through. And I'm sure they probably won't mean it like on purpose. They probably won't do it just to aggravate you, but I think that some people don't think and have common sense enough to know that you probably shouldn't do things and say things and text things to people that are trying to conceive, because it can be a very, very touchy subject. And I just think that it will put strain on your relationships for sure. There's a relationship in my life that I got strained from because there was just kind of a lot of issues and a lot of opinions coming from that person. And sometimes that's just the way that it is. And unfortunately, not everyone's going to understand what you're going through. So in some cases, it will strain your relationships. The last thing is something that will pretty much happen after you're successful in your pregnancy, in achieving a pregnancy or your fertility treatments. Obviously, not every case of infertility will be solved and will be cured or whatever. Not everyone who seeks out treatments will end up with a baby, and that breaks my heart to death. But those of you who are successful with achieving a pregnancy after fertility treatments, and obviously I'm not speaking for myself because we have not even finished IVF yet, but I've talked to people who have done IVF and all of them tell me the same thing, and that is survivor's guilt. Survivor's guilt pretty much meaning that you're happy that you've succeeded and you're successful, you're pregnant, you've got what you kind of intended the whole time, but then you almost feel guilty for sharing that to people who are still going through it, you feel like you're leaving them behind. And I never even thought about this, you guys, and I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna feel that way. The second that I achieve it, do I tell my friends who are trying to conceive? Do I tell my IVF group friends that I'm talking to on social media? Do I tell all of you right away? Which obviously I'm gonna have to because I'm doing my whole situation and journey in real time. But how am I gonna feel once I post that? Am I gonna feel relieved, sad, upset? I don't want to upset anyone else who's been trying, especially for longer than we have. When I was told about survivor's guilt, I realized that that must be one of the harder things about being successful. Obviously being successful is what everyone wants, and I am hoping we're successful, but how am I gonna feel when if it does happen for us? How am I gonna come on here and be like, yay, pregnancy vlogs, when a lot of you are probably still gonna be trying, and now it's my turn to be happy, but then your turn's not here yet, and then I don't know. That's the main one that kind of like, wow, I was surprised, I'm shocked by it, and it's so real, and it exists for everyone that I've talked to who's done IVF. All of them say they had survivor's guilt. So something that you can't really prevent. I'm sure that everyone's gonna feel that way. But at the end of the day, I'm sure we're all gonna be happy for each other. I know so many of you who have DM'd me that you've gotten your positive off IVF, and which is amazing. It just gives me hope. And it's your turn. It's your turn to get your positive, and that's great. And I think that most people will get their turn in due time, but it just sucks waiting around hoping that it's this transfer, or that transfer, or this IUI, or this month of Clomid. You just never know when it's gonna be your turn. So survivor's guilt, definitely. Just kind of keep it in your mind that you're probably gonna feel that way. And if it gets to be too much, just talk to someone about it. I'm always here to talk, even though I know none of you in real life. I'm always open on Instagram or email to talk to you, because I want to be an avenue where I actually can communicate with you guys. So that's all that I have for this video, you guys. I hope that this helps you in some way, shape, or form. I hope you guys go over and check out Rachel's video, because I have no idea what her items that she's going to talk about are, so I'm excited to watch her video too, to see what tips that she has and what things that she has learned through going through this process. So again, her channel is linked down below, and subscribe if you want to follow us on our IVF journey. The day that you are seeing this video is the day after our embryo transfer. So I'm obviously pre-filming this video. Our transfers in 2 days from now, but when it's live, it's already happened. So we're really excited. So go ahead and check out Rachel's channel and subscribe here. And if you're coming over from Rachel's channel, then hi, it's so nice to meet you guys. I hope you follow us along on our journey, and I will see you guys in our next video. Bye.